I'm Scott Vanderplu, and you're listening to the AE Index Podcast, episode 104.
I went down to the St. James Infirmary, found my baby there, stretched out on a long white table, so sweet, so cold, so fast.
Thank you for joining me once more as we bring to auditory exemplification the contents of aeindex.org. This again is a podcast a supplement to the written website where we take a look at the articles that appeared there in the last month and give some insight and add a little local color to the posts. All right, this month I thought I was bereft of reviews, but I see I did manage to get 3 done, so that's good. Plus our usual coverage, but I thought for something to lead us off, we could discuss the 2025 Eisner Award winners. So there are 2 categories where AE format books were nominated, and in both of those categories, an AE format book won. So for Best Archival Collection Project Comic Books, David Mazzucchelli's Batman Year One Artist Edition won, and that was by Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli, edited by Scott Dunbier. And Scott Dunbier was at the Eisners and accepted the award for himself and Mazzucchelli. And then the other category was Best Publication Design, and the winner of that award was David Mazzucchelli's Batman Year One Artist Edition, designed by Chip Kidd. And Chip Kidd was there to accept the award. A friend of mine, Anthony Falcone, was at the Eisners and managed to snap some pictures for me, and those grace the article on the website, so you can have a look and see the acceptance there. Congratulations to them, and to David Mazzucchelli for an amazing book, and for Scott Dunbier and Chip Kidd for bringing it to life. All right, that's really the big news. Otherwise, we've got, I guess the other news is what's missing this month. And in the month of July, I did not do an AE format out-of-print books. And I've discussed previously, I'm moving it to quarterly. I'm going to do it every 4 months. So that'll be, I guess, January, April, July, and October. Right, covering the 3 months before that. So April will cover January to March. July will cover April to June, etc. And it'll still be eBay. Just the month, the number of titles is growing. I'm not seeing that many variances in the pricing, and the just things have quieted down a little bit, possibly. So we'll take it quarterly for a while. See how that goes. Maybe it'll go horribly, and I'll switch back to monthly, but I doubt it. All right. So we had 2 new releases this month. I actually remembered to do the new release post, which I was amazed with. So the 2 releases this month were DC Work in Progress All-Star Superman #1 and Neil Adams DC Classics Artist Edition. So thankfully I have both reviewed this month. So we don't have to go. We will go over those in the review, but there were 2 new releases. And as I do try and remember, I do a post of new releases when something of the AE format comes out, or something AE adjacent, like the All-Star Superman book. All right, let's move on to solicitations. We actually saw a lot of solicitations this month, so pretty impressive. First up, first to publish their catalogs was from Lunar, and that was DC and Image. So the DC catalog had 1 new AE adjacent book, and that was DC Work in Progress American Vampire #1. DC's Artist Edition line continues. Experience the original art of DC's greatest issues and artists at original artboard size. Step into the world of comics like never before with DC Work in Progress. Get up and close and personal with stunning original artwork from one of comics' greatest artists, featuring the never-before printed inked pages of American Vampire #1. The brilliance of Albuquerque's work can be seen like never before in this massive, oversized presentation. wouldn't it be oversized presentation? Don't miss your chance to own this incredible once-of-a-kind piece of comics history, featuring a brand new introduction by Albuquerque. This is being released by DC on October 15th. It is 11 by 17 inches. It's 32 pages. It's a soft cover, and it's $14.99 US. So based on what I saw from the DC Work in Progress, I'm still going to continue getting these books. This is the third one. I'm going to see what Absolute Batman #1 looks like next month and go from there. Okay, next solicitation. Image, October 2025. So Act 4 is distributed by Skybound and Image. So therefore we had two new artist editions from Act 4 Publishing, Scott Dembier. And those are previously discussed through the Simon & Schuster solicitation. But now they're in the catalog and they're coming. So we've got Mike Mignola's Hellboy in Hell Artist Edition, Volume 2. Dive into the second half of Hellboy in Hell, issues 6 to 10, as well as numerous covers and story pages from award-winning creator Mike Mignola in this stunning oversized artist edition. I'm not sure what oversized means in this context, because it's 160 pages, 12 by 17 inches. That's standard size for an artist edition. Okay. This artist edition features the concluding 5 issues of Hellboy in Hell, issues 6 to 10, as well as many covers and illustrations. Although appearing to be in black and white, all the art is scanned in color, enabling the reader to see the work as close to the original as possible. Ink gradients, blue pencil, and all the unique nuances that make original art so special are all clearly visible and printed at the same size as drawn. The artist edition of Mike Mignola's work is an art book disguised as a comic collection. The only better way to see these pages is by looking over Mignola's shoulder at his drawing board. Maybe the sentence would have read better as this artist edition. Okay. Anyway. The interesting thing from this solicitation in the catalog is what we didn't learn before, that there is a B cover. So we've seen the cover A. Now they're saying there's a B cover. The art for B cover has not been published yet. We're going to have to wait. So the second, that's being released March 25th, 2026. It's 12 by 17 inches, 160 pages, hardcover, 150 US. Look for that in your normal online resources or local comic shop. Next book, Wally Wood's EC Stories Artist Edition, Expanded. Discover an all-new look at the work of the legendary Wally Wood as he helped change the face of comics forever. DC Comics, the groundbreaking publisher known for their industry-leading horror, sci-fi, and suspense storytelling. EC Comics is one of the greatest comic imprints of all time, with Wally Wood as one of its brightest stars. The Wally Wood EC Stories Artist Edition. Apostrophe's missing from the solicitation there. Expanded will include all 18 stories from the long out of print first edition, but that's not all. An additional 11 stories will be included for the very first time, for a staggering total of 28 complete stories. That is staggering, man. That's basically, like a second half to the book. Within these pages are some of Wood's greatest artistic achievements, including his work on My World, Came the Dawn, Mars is Heaven, Atom Bomb, Blockade, and many more. Additionally, more than a dozen classic covers by Wood are included. As an extra special bonus, the unpublished Spawn of Venus at EC Comics story intended for the canceled three-dimensional science fiction is included in this volume. Although appearing to be in black and white, it's going to give us the same spiel. The artist edition of Wally Wood's work is an art book disguised. I say again, they really need to change to this artist edition. That would just make more sense. Collect My World from Weird Science 22, Mars in Heaven from Weird Science 18, Came the Dawn from Shock Sun Stories, Atom Bomb from Two-Fisted Tales 33, Ingratitude from Shock Suspense Stories 11. Interesting that they include, that the solicitation gives those stories and only those stories. Weird. Okay. That's kind of odd. I think I got that from the Simon & Schuster. So when I look at the text of the catalog page, no, that's okay. All right, so the other interesting thing with this is, I'm all over the place again. Sorry, I'm easily distracted by copy editing. This book is being released February 4th, 2026. It's 15 inches by 22 inches. It's 240 pages hardcover. It's $195 US. So yes, that is a price increase for an artist edition. But also, keep in mind, look at the size of this thing. At 15 by 22, 240 pages, this is going to be a big and heavy book. So what's interesting as well about this is Walt's Comic Shop, sponsor of A-Index, and has another exclusive cover. So they're having an exclusive cover for the Jim Aparo book, and now they've got an exclusive cover for Wally Wood's EC Stories Artist Edition Expanded. So luckily, that went online, and I added it to this post. So you can pop in there and have a great look at that. Also, there is a direct market exclusive cover B, and that is published in the catalog. You can get to see it there. I really like this, the Mignola cover, and then this Wally Wood cover. I like that there's no frame on the cover. I think we're getting used to this sort of artist edition style of having a frame around the book and then having original art in the middle, and then sort of this especially the Wally Woods, the cover A, it really pops just the way that it's presented in the cover. I love the look. The Mignola one, it is full art, and then they put the line around it, sort of going with Mignola's the first book, which I've completely forgotten what it looks like. So now I'm going to the index. That's the beauty of having this website, that all things are made available. Let's go to Mike Mignola. Scrolling. No, definitely a different layout for the cover here. They did the frame, they did the art, and they did the logo. So yes, they're sticking more with that traditional, and breaking that off and presenting full art in the cover. That's a great look, man. Good stuff there. All right. Next solicitation from 2000 AD. This was just announced. It's exciting. It's Judge Dredd by Carlos Ezquerra, Apex Edition. Carlos Ezquerra was one of 2000 AD's great pioneers. He co-created Judge Dredd, cementing the look of one of the most enduring characters in the history of comics. This collection presents his work to the reader in its true size, newly scanned from the original art, showcasing the work of a master in all its glory. This Apex volume contains 7 complete stories in color, which is nice. It's nice to see complete stories in an Apex edition. We've gotten a smattering of complete stories, but mostly it's been just random pages. So, all right, these stories are Behold the Beast, The Big Itch, It's Happening on Line 9, The Other Slab Tynan, The Big Bang Theory, Tarantula, and John Brown's Body. From the Judge Dredd annuals published in the 1980s, when Ezquerra was at the peak of his powers, and more Judge Dredd classics, as well as several of his early Strontium Dog pages. 2000 AD is being released on November 25th, 2025. It's 14.5 inches by 19 inches, 128 pages. It's a hardcover. Currently, on the 2000 AD website, it's $127.99 US. Now, we have seen each time when it's solicited via a US distributor, which is, right now, I believe this is going to be distributed by Lunar. I don't know if it's going to get to Simon & Schuster. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But next month, we should see it in Lunar's September catalog and what happens from there, what the price will be. Because it's been a little bit cheaper through once it's listed. But that was always through Diamond. We'll have to see what happens here. And there is a variant. There's a slipcase variant for $175.99 available on the 2080 website. And that comes with a tipped-in signature page and a slipcase. So, big news there. Exciting. But wait. That's not all. One more solicitation. This came right at the end of the month. Now, this is not from a publisher's catalog. It is from a distributor. Yeah. And that is the Penguin Random House July 2025 solicitations for this month. I posted just one new book out of the blue. IDW coming up with DC Covers Artist Edition Volume 2, featuring some of the most famous and popular cover artists: Jim Lee, Jack Kirby, Bernie Wrightson, and many more, and iconic characters: Superman, Batman, Green Lantern, Green Arrow, The Flash, and others to ever appear in DC Comics. More than 120 classic covers from DC Comics. As an artist edition, this book publishes scans of original art at a high resolution and at the same size it was drawn, while appearing to be in black and white. Boy, they just, yeah. Okay, yep, standing over the shoulder, yep. Artists included are Brian Boland, John Byrne, Nick Cardy, Carmine Infantino, Dave Gibbons, Gene Ha, Joe Kubert, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, Walter Simonson, and more. So this is solicited for April 28th, 2026. It's 12 by 17 inches, 128 pages. It's a hardcover. It's $150 US. So unfortunately, Volume 1, they were kind enough to list a table of contents really early. And we're going to see Volume 1 next month, hopefully. But maybe it's too early for a table of contents for Volume 2. So I'm going to keep watching, and if that gets posted, I will add it to my solicitation. So lots announced, lots coming up. I got to say, that's pretty exciting. While on the topic of that, let's talk shipping changes. Two more books just sliding into 2026, which I hate to see. I really do. Spawn Vault Edition Volume 3, which is the Greg Capullo edition, has now been moved to January 7th of 2026. Youngblood Vault Edition has been moved to February 10th. I mean, Youngblood Vault Edition, it's just what this book started out being released for April 2025. And now so that's 10 months. It's been pushed 10 months. Man. That's crazy. Those are the shipping changes. Otherwise, things are looking up. Lots of books coming. I mean, if you look at what we've received this year and what's still to come, we still have, well, currently, if schedules hold, we have 4 books still till the end of this year. 3 new books. We got Jack Kirby Forever People Artist Edition, the 2025 reprint. We have DC Covers Artist Edition, Volume 1. We have Jim Aparo's DC Classics Artist Edition. We have Judge Dredd by Carlos Esquerra Apex Edition. Plus, in amongst that, we should still have the body bags. So, that's happening. So, so 4, really. I'm still waiting on them. I did not order my body bags through Kickstarter. I ordered mine directly from the publisher because I am... the Kickstarter was not willing to ship to Europe, and I bought a lot of books. A lot. It's not a lot. I bought a set number of books, and as a retailer bundle, and I'm shipping them to Europe. So that'll be nice. Anyway, still waiting for that to happen. It's coming. All right. That is shipping changes. Let's talk the index poll for this month. This month was a part 2 to the poll. I'll give you the blurb-tastic. In past poll, we have been yearning for some X-Men books. And like a good prophecy, we received John Byrne, Dave Cockrum, Jim Lee, and Paul Smith, whose iconic run deserves the AE treatment, part 2 of 2. So that would this month, it was, what X-Men artist would you like to see next? Art Adams, Chris Bachalo, Alan Davis, Carlos Pacheco, Frank Quitely. Let's talk those winners. Oh, excuse me. Got the yawns. Big win this month. It's a landslide. Art Adams, 52 votes. Followed by Frank Quitely, then Alan Davis, then Chris Bachalo, then Carlos Pacheco. I voted for Alan Davis. Of these 3, I'd really like to see Alan Davis more than any others. I see where Adams is getting the votes, no question. I Quitely, I guess. But no, it's Alan Davis all the way. Alan Davis is woefully underrepresented in the AE format. I mean, so is Art Adams, no question. But at least he's appeared in the ABC Artist Edition. Alan Davis, I think, would we get a cover in the modern Marvel Covers Modern Era? Okay. Yeah, my throat's dry. I have to keep hydrated while I do this. Okay. 3 reviews this month. I had to work one Saturday. My routine now, I think I mentioned this before, but because I changed careers in 2023, and I was previously in IT and always had some downtime, so I did this kind of thing in my downtime. Now I get full days at work, so the only time I get to do reviews, I do it on Saturday. I take the video, I take the photos, I write the review. Starts Saturday morning, I'm done Saturday afternoon. The newsletter goes out Saturday afternoon. Speaking of newsletter, I was on the forums, and somebody I'm so entrenched in this topic, right, that I think aren't people following, when I'm posting? But I don't post every post or even any post really in the forum. I figure people, know the website, and I'm sure they subscribe to the newsletter. It's the easiest way to get all the news from the week in one easy source. Hint, hint. And aindex.org/newsletter. sign up there. And but somebody posted, a link to one of my articles, and suddenly they get a lot of hits on it. And I think, hasn't anybody already read this? Don't people follow my website? Don't they? And then somebody posts a link to a different website that has a video of the Neil Adams. I'm like, what? I posted my video last week. Didn't people see that in the review? And then somebody asked a question about a book, and I'm like, what? Here's something I reviewed, and all the info's in the review. And I just think, doesn't everybody just read everything I write and hang on every word? Just kidding. But sign up for the newsletter, everybody, please. If you listen to this podcast and you like what's happening, then you gotta sign up for the newsletter. Get one source. It lists everything that happened in the week. You can click on whatever you'd like. Just read it all at once. All right. I should probably do the how can you support the site. Please click these links. Click those Amazon links. Click the Walt's Comic Shop link. I don't have a lot of other links anymore. I guess Forbidden Planet I have to work on again. I can't find a North American affiliate link. I mean, I'd love Cheap Graphic Novels. They're supporting other sites. They don't have an affiliate program. Nobody I can find with an online comic shop has an affiliate program in North America. So right now I'm sticking with Amazon for these books, and if it's not on Amazon, I'm just not putting a link. I am supporting some small sites if I can. Stuart Ing, he's put some links up for me, which I appreciate, and I'm linking back to him on those kind of books. Bud Plant has linked to me once, which I appreciate. They make it a little harder to link to them. I'm not really sure what's happening there. But, just if you run some sort of North American online shop and offer artist editions and would like to make a advertising agreement, then I'm all ears. Scott@ANX.org. Otherwise, please click the links. Please sign up for Patreon. It's $1 or €1 or whatever your currency is or more. Whatever you'd like to support is awesome. Greatly appreciated. And the third way is to buy something from my store. So recently I sold the last copy of Extremity Signature Edition. So that just sat around forever. Somebody snapped that up, and thank you for doing that. Otherwise, I've just got some things. I'm wondering, am I overpriced? I've lowered prices again on the store. I mean, I've got Eric Powell's The Goon Artist Edition for $50. I'm wondering if I should just take him with me to Baltimore. I'm going to Baltimore this year and just have him sign and sketch it. And maybe I'll have a better chance of selling it after that, as opposed to just having a sealed copy. I don't think being sealed is helping me in any way. Okay. Those are the ways to support. Always appreciate it, I got to say. 3 reviews this month. Let's start with, we'll go in order of publication. So I had reviewed something from Ad Hoc Editions last month, and this time, so then I had my second book, which was Le Mystère du Gros Bois. I'm struggling with that. Vent Page 01. So they're doing the Vent Page is their adjacent format. I don't know how else to describe it. An artisan edition. It's not full-size art, but they are doing there's full scans of full art, and it's in a clever sort of soft cover, and they've got a really interesting binding for that. Let me give you the blurb. The Vent Page collection presents Mytac's artistic work as it was in 1954 to 55. The plates and drawings are offered in facsimile, faithful to their original creation. The story of La Patrie de Castor, Le Mystère du Gros Bois, written by Jean-Michel Charlier and illustrated by Mytac, was first published in the Spear newspaper from issue 867 to 885, before being published in an album in 1955 by Dupuis. The albums in the Vent Page collection offer readers, thanks to facsimiles, a vision of the original plates that they never normally see. The albums in the Vent Page collection take on a heritage dimension by highlighting the creative genius of the authors, making them accessible thanks to an unlimited print run and an affordable price. These albums are aimed at all comic book fans, whether connoisseurs or novices, and open a door to a fascinating world where art and storytelling meet to offer a unique reading experience. What a great way to describe an artist edition. Now, the difference with this is, this book is 10.5 inches by 13 and a quarter inches. It's 64 pages. It's softcover. It's €35. So just picture that. So I mean, even an artisan edition is somewhere between 40 and 50 US. And smaller than this. And here they're offering it. And again, I think I mentioned when I talked about my trip to France and Belgium that I saw these books in all the comic shops. So that was great to see. So again, beautiful format. They're following that European style book where there is an introduction, there is something written by somebody, IE, not A. Oh boy, there you go. AE always in the brain. I.e. biography, a little history of the material and what was happening at the time. Photos, maybe some roughs or some accompanying artwork, and then we move right into the story. Full scans of this entire story. So I was unfamiliar with the artist, Mitak, and that is his full name, which I have in the review is, what is it? It's Michel, I think it's Michel Tack. Yes, Michel Tack. So this is my second ad hoc edition book, and it is gorgeous. They're just doing a bang up job. So there's let me just give you the blurb here because they discuss the a few words about the apparent wire binding called Swiss binding. Who has ever been frustrated by a book where the pages bend towards the center, distorting the images and interfere with the read? While with the apparent wire binding, also known as Swiss binding, this problem is a thing of the past. This technique allows our albums to open flat, offering an optimal reading experience, especially valuable for discovering facelift boards. I think they mean facsimile. An album consists of two parts, the cover and the inner block, put together by what is called the binding. In the case of apparent binding, the notebooks that make up the work are sewn together and glued slightly to create the inner block. We'd call them in English the signatures. This block is then fixed to the reverse of the back plate of the cover by a vertical glue area of 1 centimeter wide. Thus, when you open the book, the cover reveals the slice of the sewn books, and the pages can open flat without being locked into the back of the cover. The simplicity of the apparent thread binding is puzzling, reminiscent of the ingenuity of the egg of Columbus. Although this type of binding has probably existed since the early days of thread work and was used in the Middle Ages to assemble scrolls, it is rarely adopted today because of its unfinished look. However, it was precisely this authentic appearance that seduced us and that we chose for our one-page collection. This apparent wire binder, as old as the edition, is not an invention of ad hoc editions. However, we are not aware of any other comic book work shaped with this binder. This technique, however, combines simplicity and functionality, offering a pleasant reading and allowing to discover the boards almost flat. Yeah, you open it up and the front cover is not attached to the book. It's only attached by the back cover. So it opens fully and you can really see the signatures. And then, the pages, every page opens flat. It is gorgeous. It's such a smart way of binding. Especially for the size, right? Man, it's like 10 by 13 is such a great size to reprint original art. It's still a good size. It's easily handleable. Keep the price down. It's a great option. Anyway, an artist I'd never heard of, but of course, because I love ad hoc editions, they put this out and throw it for it. This goes. They've done the Pemberton. That's what I couldn't remember the title of it. And they've got some more books coming along. The next ad, they've got another Vaughn page, some stuff. Anyways, they still got coming up. It looks great. We'll have to wait and see. So, go online, take a look at this. I really can't say much about the. As I said, I have not experienced this material in English, so I have no idea. But there's an introduction, and then there's a discussion of how the artwork came about, and it is interesting. I didn't realize this with this. So this album, the only original art they could locate had someone had pasted Dutch over all the word balloons. So they had 2 pages only that still had the French wording. So they digitally removed the Dutch and they had put in the French dialogue word balloons digitally. And you really can't tell. Well, you can actually. That's not true. It's like those word balloons, that's interesting. And then, why are these pages different? And then you get to the back and you go, that's why. Great book. Great price. Man, they're doing a great work at Ad Hoc. That's all I can say. Moving on to something not so great at work. And that is DC Work in Progress, All-Star Superman #1. Step into the world of comics like never before with DC Work in Progress. Get up close and personal with the stunning original artwork from one of comics' greatest artists. Featuring the never-before printed ink pages of All-Star Superman #1 from Frank Quitely. The brilliance of Quitely's work can be seen like never before in this massive, oversized presentation. Lettering included for the full reading experience with a brand new introduction by Quitely. Don't miss your chance to own this incredible, one-of-a-kind piece of comic history. This was released on July 9th. We discussed it earlier. 11 by 17, 24 pages, soft cover, $14.99 US. I have no online link for this because we discussed it already. You open this book up and you go, wait a second, this doesn't look like the original art at all. Something be wrong. And then, which I do, they use French flaps, which I like because the front flap allows for Quitely's introduction. The rear flap allows for the indices or colophon, I guess. This is still a magazine, so I guess it would be the indices. And then Quitely states in his introduction, the finished, he says, this is a glimpse behind the curtain. This is what the pages look like on my drawing table before Jamie's dazzling colors. These are the images that grew in my mind after reading Grant's perfect script, captured as honestly as I was able to in simple black and white. These pages do not look like original art in any way. They look like black and white line art. And then I reached out and was able to get some information from Joseph Melchior of Brit Comics Art. He's Frank Quitely's art dealer, and also you'll see his name a lot in the Graffiti Designs gallery editions. So he says, All-Star Superman was all penciled artwork with no traditional inking on the board. The finished pencils were scanned and then contrasted to make them printable. Some people refer to this process as digital inking, and those are the files DC would be printing from. Now, I was told, but that not from a different source, that Quitely had these scans, and he provided them to DC, and that's where this comes from. So, as a first book that in the solicitation they like to throw around the term artist edition, it's disappointing. I mean, completely. Let's go right from there. It very much reminded me of the those image books. Artist proof editions. I've got a couple of them. The Sacrificers is the only one really that I could see were scans of the artboards. I'm hoping we're going to see that with the Absolute Batman and the American Vampire. I'm concerned if this is what we're going to get, because it does not. It is not representing the original art. It is representing, looks like black and white line production art blown up. So. And I can understand putting in the digital lettering. That's fine, but they added digital lettering effects as well, and it just doesn't look right. Yeah. I'd say DC's 0-1. Let's see what happens with the next one. Last review of the month. I was thankful enough to get a review copy of this from IDW. There was a mix-up with my address, so I had a bit of a delay with this book, so that's why it was reviewed July 26th. I had it for less than a week, and I reviewed it, and it needed more time than that. Sometimes with these books are so large, it needs time to gestate, with me, and this is one of those times, because now it's been another week, and, spending more time with it, and so, Neil Adams, DC Classics Artist Edition. Let me give you the blurb. Neil Adams is regarded as one of the most important comic artists of all time. Hugely influential and popular, Adams redefined the way comics were viewed by both fans and creators. This artist edition includes Adams' work from Batman, Brave and the Bold, Detective Comics, Strange Adventures, Aquaman, Green Lantern and Green Arrow, Flash, House of Mystery, Phantom Stranger, Action Comics, Superman, Justice League of America, Weird Western Tales, and more. This artist edition presents Neil Adams' original artwork scanned at high resolution and in color. See how they do this instead of the? Good job. So the reader can view pages and covers as close to their natural state as possible, mimicking the look and even the feel of original art. I like that, mimicking the look and feel of even the feel. Is this the exact same paper as the original art? I think it's close. Is it mimicking the feel? I'm not sure. That's a good question. 12 by 17 inches, 288 pages hardcover, 150 US. If you bought cover A or B, these were offered covers A and B through everywhere. I had mentioned to Scott Dunbier that I liked the cover B better at some point, and he got me cover B sent, so that was awesome. And there's also an IDW direct market exclusive cover for 200 US. That's a wraparound cover. And then there's Neil Adams store has two exclusive covers as well for $250. So you can spend $150 on one of these covers, or you can spend up to $250 on different covers and get the exact same interior contents, but spend 66% more for the outside of the book. That doesn't really matter. All right, then. If you'd like to know more into my bitterness for variant covers, you can go to the forum and read about it. All right, I had stated earlier on that I really am not a Neal Adams fan, and that can, I gotta say that continues to hold. Seeing original art, viewing original art, seeing an artist edition, and then seeing the published comic is a big difference. Now I'm a Marvel fanboy. I really was when I started. I love the Marvel stuff. I actually said that in the review here. I started off with Marvel, and then got some back issues, and then because I was a teenager of the 80s, so V for Vendetta, and actually Camelot 3000, V for Vendetta, Batman Dark Knight Returns, those kind of books, Watchmen, right? That drew me into DC, but it drew me into that DC, and then Vertigo books, but I didn't go mainstream. I have to say the only mainstream probably I participated in was Batman 404 to 407, right? Batman Year One. But then you take a look at this book, and it is chock-a-block full of original art. It's crazy how this is 288 pages. It's one of the largest AE format books. It's not the largest. 320 pages is the largest. I think that's tied between Extremity and Ronin. But this is getting up there. I think this is the largest IDW artist edition as far as page count. And it's broken down by title, basically. So you got Batman, and that's the biggest chunk. I mean, people love the Neal Adams Batman. And then we get Dead Man, which is, I think Dead Man was my favorite section of the book. And then we get Green Lantern and Green Arrow, which is a great section as well. Awesome. And then we get miscellaneous, which is we get House of Mystery. And it's actually, this falls under mystery. So we got DC Special, House of Mystery, Phantom Stranger, House of Secrets, Witching Hour. So some great stuff there. And then we get to the sort of Superman, Justice League, the Western stuff. And there's just a ton of foldouts in this book. When you get just be careful of your foldouts. That's all I can say. When you get a foldout, be careful, because if you don't fold it just right when you go back, next time you open your artist edition, that foldout will be folded. The corner will be folded or something. It's happened. Not in this book because I'm careful now, but I think one of my earliest artist editions with a foldout. I go back to it later. I'm like, what happened? So you try, you bend the corner back. What can you do? But the binding's a little tight on this book, I gotta say. So you don't get a lot of flat pages. I think that's mostly because of the page count. I'm not exactly sure. But you get to see, Neal Adams' goodness. Neal Adams obviously has a style. And Neal Adams is very visually recognizable. And he does some things, like just sometimes the way he does heads or faces, he's got a look. He's got a hand thing, he likes to extend the fingers flat and hands a lot. It's a great look. It's a signature move. The hair, a lot of times you can recognize Neal Adams. It's just Adams has just got a very unique art style. And I'm not a child of the 70s, so like I said, those comics did not have, and there's no nostalgia for me in this book. It's strictly an appreciation of the art. And it's, when you get something like this that is really steeped in comics history, right? It's just solid comics history. And you vicariously experience the nostalgia. Because when I'm flipping and I open, I'm a partner in a comic store. I handle back issues every day. I do all the online work for our store, so I do all the scanning and listings and things like that. And it's, I end up holding, most of our back issues in my hand. So you see a cover, you see something, you go, oh yeah, man, I've held this so many times before. But to see the original art, just a whole different perspective. And it's not just it's not the penciled ink pages. You see a lot of there's some great pencil roughs in here. is some gorgeous full pencil work. It just really shines. Like that, the Ra's al Ghul that gets used as a background for Batman 232. It's just stunning. And then there's an Aquaman cover. I couldn't tell you which one. It's got to be Brave and the Bold. The Sleepwalker from the Sea says on there. It really pops. But as I said, I think if there's something of Neil Adams that I do appreciate, and I have that DC slipcase. I have the 3 DC slipcases from the 90s. Crisis on Infinite Earths, Green Lantern, Green Arrow, and the Dead Man one. And seeing this Dead Man stuff, I really enjoyed it. It's just great. It's just great. And there's no other way to say it. Didn't have any complaints about the book. Like I said, the binding, and then the book starts off strong. Like, we're sort of. It's funny. We have a visual that we're used to, right? And I did not care for the borders on any of the covers. There's a plasticky digital feel to the colors and how they presented on the books. Like the DC logo, just that blue logo is just very harsh in relationship to the other art. And let's just say, we're used to a certain look. And the all the pages generally are centered. They're centered, in the center of the page. So margins to the left and right are equal size. Margins to the top and bottom are equal size. Sometimes, they can't, all 4 sides can't be the same margin, but they try and work it. And this book, the margins sort of bounce around. The pages bounce around all over the margins. They're not, they start off, the Batman stuff starts off centered, and then, the Dead Man stuff, and then it just, things get a little weird where they're not centered anymore. They're a little over to the left, or to the right, or they're all the way to the top, and they're leaving a margin at the bottom, and it's a bit odd. I think if you weren't looking to nitpick, and I will at first admit, with these books, right, where, as I said, I'm not reviewing the story, I'm reviewing the book. So fit and finish, that's a presentation. Those kind of things matter to me. And it doesn't quite work. So, but I mean, could that be the smallest of detail that is practically not important to anybody but me? I would say yes. There are some great 2-page spreads, which I like how the 2-page spread is handled. They're not, obviously, because they're not joined. If it's not in a fold-out, we actually get 2-page spreads that aren't in fold-outs. And they're nicely handled. They are brought together with just a bit of inner margin, right? So that when you open the book, because of that slight gutter loss, you can almost visually see it as a 2-page spread, right? So that's handled very well done. And that's not normally the case when you see 2-page spread in any sort of book like this, right? Unless it's a fold-out. All right, that's all for me this month. I think I've babbled on long enough. Thanks for joining me here, and we will talk again next month.
Let her go, God bless her, wherever she may be. She can search this wide world over. She'll never find a sweet man like me.